Good afternoon, good evening. It's Andrew at 510 Books, and I have a plethora, a massive donation of Stephen King books. These two over here are staying in my book and media store here, my first store, and then the other two stacks are going to my second bookstore. All of these are different titles. Excuse me, different titles from Stephen King. There's even the first 6 of the Dark Tower series here, paperback, first through 6. I think there's 8 in the series. Those are all going to the second store, so to the bookstore. So this is pretty awesome. This is part of a larger book donation, which I've mentioned. So this is just the beginning of me going through all of these books. I finished those off yesterday, priced them out, and then I still have these 2 boxes down here, a couple books there, and then these 2 boxes over here, just so you can get a look. This is the first part of the video. I'll make the other part when I finish going through all these books. But in addition, I also got another donation of 4 bags of books yesterday, which were like mysteries, that kind of thing, including this Susanna Gregory lot here, which I'm going to list on on eBay. There's 15 of them for $34.99 plus shipping, taking offers, promoted at 3%. And then these are E.M. Powell. These I will list for $19.99 on eBay. I keep saying Amazon. And then I kept a bunch of them that will go between the 2 stores. A bunch of like old school mysteries. There's also a bunch of Mark Twain books in there. I debated doing the Mark Twains as a lot on eBay, but decided not to. Just by looking at the solds, it just wasn't worth it. So I'd rather put them in the store and see if someone would be interested in them. And this Susanna Gregory is an example of something that makes more sense to put on eBay as a lot than it does to put in my store. Because there's so many of them, 15 of them, all different titles from the same author, from the same series, which is a Thomas Challoner adventure, I guess is how you say that. And just looking at what's out there on eBay as lots for this particular author, that particular series, I feel confident that these will sell pretty quickly, and just going to sell faster and for more money on eBay than I would get them in my store. All right, I'll share with you when I get through the rest of the books what I find and see if there's anything by a bunch of authors or whatnot, because I do see some books in there which are these here that look interesting. Kind of remind me of like the Reader's Digest books that I came across. All right, guys. Finished going through all those books. Got all those Stephen Kings ready for my store. And then these are the stacks I'm left with. Those are all going on eBay. And those are all going into my bookstore. So the way I did this, so first of all, most of the books that were in this donation outside of the Stephen King books were Book of the Month Club books. So if you were wondering, Book of the Month Club has been around for decades. I don't actually know exactly when they started, but I've come across Book of the Month Club books going back to the 50s, if not the 40s. But these are more current. So all of these were from in between 2017 to 2024. So very current books. And what I ended up doing was I pulled aside all of the currently really popular books. These are the books that are selling like hotcakes on Amazon. This is why it's a good idea to be able to read Amazon data as well as eBay data. Now, of course, I'm going to be putting these in my physical retail store, but nonetheless, it's still good to have both of those data sets and all of that information at your fingertips on your phone. So when I scanned all of those, these had sell-through rates, really high sell-through rates. I mean, there's a book here that's ranked currently 1,000. So it's selling multiple copies a day, many copies a day, probably dozens, if not more, a day. That was just one of them, but all of them were selling. Many of them were selling a copy a day. Some of them were every other day, that kind of thing. But they're pretty popular right now. So I'm going to put all those in my bookstore, see how they do. And then the rest of them, what I did was I created Book of the Month Club lots for eBay. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I got at least 12 or more in each stack, and I'm going to list them that way. It's also by year. So the first one, this is 2017, 2018. There's 18 of them. This one's 2019. There's 12 of them. This one's 2020, 2021. There's 16. There's 13 here, and there's 14 here. And I'm pricing them anywhere in between $31.99 all the way up to $49.99. I want them to move fast. They're big. They take up space. Hardcovers. They're heavy. So I'm trying to move them quickly. So yeah, the idea is to move these quickly and get them out of here, make some decent money, that kind of thing. And when I looked up Book of the Month Club lots on eBay, the last 90 days, this is what I found in terms of what has sold. So there's 70 that have sold. And these are all different kinds of Book of the Month Club, of course. I'm not looking at the years. But as you can see, like this one has 10 sold for $29.99 plus shipping. Here's another one, 10 of them for $27.99. Again, $27.99. I saw a lot of those. And some of these are just John Steinbeck. These are Hemingway. But there's a lot that look very similar to what I have. So off of that data, this information on eBay, the solds. Like here's one. I think I like that picture where they have the cover of one and then the spines of the rest. I might end up doing that. This one took an offer, and they have 10 of them. Most of them have 10 or less. I saw a couple. There's 10. I think I saw, let me see where it is. I know I saw some. There, this one has 13, and I can't believe it sold for $62. That's crazy. Free shipping though. Here, this one has 10, but it sold for $44. So there's some that are getting more money. There was some more in here. There was another one in here that had a lot. There it is. 17 Book of the Month clubs, free shipping, but it sold for $80, $79.99. So that's the data I'm going off of. And I'm essentially predicting that based on that eBay data, the solds data, that these should sell relatively quickly based on how many I have in each one and the fact that of where they're priced. I also separated them by year, which some people might be into. For me, that's just organizationally makes more sense. But we'll see. So it's an experiment. I've never sold current Book of the Month Club book lots on eBay. We'll see. Since I shot that first section of the video, I also got in 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of donations, and most of them are audiobooks. Harry Potter. There's also the complete set of Harry Potter DVDs. So, and a bunch of them are sealed. So I'm going to see what, and actually the audiobooks are cassette tapes, but I think it's a complete series. So I'm going to see if I can get money for that. And today's the day of donations. And then I got these 3 boxes here. And then those 4, so 7 boxes. She said, I have not looked inside yet. She said they are basically everything that I look for, right? Books, DVDs, and CDs. So I have no idea the quality, no clue. I haven't opened them yet, but we'll take a dive in there and see what I find. So if you're only selling on eBay and Amazon, which is majority of people that are going to watch this, and I'm sure some people that are not even sellers that like to watch this stuff, but if you're just selling online, then, and you don't have any sort of obviously you don't have a retail store like this, you don't have even a booth somewhere, a shelf, whatever, then everything's got to go online, right? So you can do local, of course. You can do OfferUp, and you can do Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, for sure. But you're going to have to do bottom, really low prices, and really price them to move. But if you get a bunch of Stephen Kings like this, you probably just put them together in a big lot and sell them on eBay. That would be a good idea. And what I've done with the books, putting them into lots, selling them on eBay would make more sense than, for instance, separating out the more popular, books that are selling through really quickly on Amazon, because those will help. By putting those into these lots, it'll help boost those lots, because people will see those titles and say, oh yeah, that's one I really wanted. It's super popular right now, that kind of thing. These should still do well just based on how many there are and where I'm pricing them. So again, we'll see. It's an experiment, but based on the data, I feel confident that'll happen. So yeah, you probably put all of those in with these lots, and you can even do just one big lot with those. So, that might make sense as well. But I'm always thinking of Amazon, eBay, and of course in my store. Excuse me. I like to have good stock. I like to have fresh stock, and even if something that I put out in my store doesn't sell the first week I put it out, the second week, the fourth week, I know that it's good stuff, so that someone will come along and more than likely purchase it at some point. And I just think that the better stuff you have in your store, whether it's eBay or a physical retail store, the better. More likely that people are going to come back, recommend you. Maybe not on eBay recommend you, but at least in person they will for sure. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll let you know once I get these listed and start selling them that it worked or it didn't work. All right, guys, see you next video. Take care.